On Extra Mile tonight, we're speaking to the Director of Public Prosecutions and looking at the performance of the office. Most importantly, what are the gains? What are the losses? Are there flops? And obviously, looking into the future. And the Director of Public Prosecutions, Noordin Haji, joins us tonight. Karibu sana bwana DPP.
Asante sana.
All right, let's begin with your mandate as the DPP in terms of the chain of administration of justice. What is the role of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions?
Yeah, that is well laid down in the Constitution, and the mandate is to prosecute. The Constitution gives the state powers of prosecutions to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Yeah.
Since you took office in 2018, what would you say are the major gains in terms of being in charge of this office? Or what has this office been able to achieve since you took office?
I think a number of things, including being able to prosecute a number of high-profile cases. But we've also managed to successfully do a lot of reforms within the ODPP and to modernize its systems and its processes. But we've also managed to, I think, sensitize the public of our role, and also we have strived to ensure that access to justice reaches to each and every Mwananchi. Yeah.
Talk a bit about modernization, particularly when you're dealing with issues of case management. Talk a bit about...
Yeah, what we've done is we've now successfully been able to digitize our processes, and we have now a digital case management system that has been connected with that of the judiciary. So we have electronic e-filing, especially in Nairobi, and we are rolling it out to elsewhere in the country. We have also managed to ensure that we are able to proceed with the prosecutions and serve the Mwananchi, even through the digital connection by virtual, doing virtual courts with the judiciary. This has really enhanced our ability to be able to reach to everybody, even those who cannot avail themselves in court. Of course, the COVID period has made us adapt to that, but that adaptation has been very smooth and crucial, and it has added a lot of value in the justice system. Yeah.
When you think about bashing, because I'm sure you've received a fair bit of bashing, probably from some who misunderstand your mandate as the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. What is your office doing to sensitize the public on what you're doing?
Well, we've done quite a bit. I think it is only the other day when we also had a meeting with the media fraternity to make them understand, because they are one of the people and they have the tools to be able to sensitize the public. So we've taken them through what the role of the prosecutor is, and what an ideal prosecutor should be, what the public should be expecting from an ideal prosecutor. We managed to bring quite a number of people to come and share that their experiences. We had a prosecutor who came in from the US. We had a prosecutor from the United Nations and a prosecutor from the UK who came and shared their experiences and managed to be able to allow, especially the editors, to gauge where Kenyan prosecutors stand in terms of the kind of services that we offer. We also have had engagement with the public. We have had what we call public outreach programs, and it's only last week when we were in Kioria and we were engaging with the public and justice centers. So we've done quite a bit. Of course, during the COVID period, we had to be a bit measured. But we have been doing that. In addition, we have our own platforms, the Twitter, Facebook. We have our own what we call the ODPP Cafe every Friday. We have different subjects that we discuss, and we ensure that we're accessible to the Mwananchi, so that they can get to understand what do prosecutors do and how best can they also be able to access services from us. Yeah.
Obviously, the nature of cases you're dealing with are not just related to corruption, but let's get into the war against corruption. Where are we, DPP? The people who feel out there like we're losing the war against corruption.
Well, we've done quite a bit. We have quite a number of cases in court. And we are trying to conclude those cases. Because if we're able to conclude and be successful with them, then the impact will be much more, will be felt much more by the public. And it will be able to allow people to understand how serious first the government is in fighting this menace, and also understand what are the consequences of being involved in corruption. So we are on the right track. And we've been continuing. We're in court, and we are bringing new cases also. But I've said in so many other places that we will not bring the cases just for the sake of it, because somebody has maybe misled the public that these cases should be brought to court. We will only bring cases that have evidence and that are watertight, and we think that have prospects of conviction.
DPP, there are those who feel out there like they are people who are untouchable when it comes to the war against corruption, like the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions sometimes takes a backseat when it comes to some individuals.
Like who? You have to be specific. You can't just say some.
Are there cases you fear prosecuting?
Sorry, are there cases we failed?
You fear prosecuting?
No. Have you seen any cases that are feared prosecuting? Now I'm asking you the question, because you can't just say it unless you can pinpoint to a case that you think I'm afraid of prosecuting. There are no cases that I've been afraid to prosecute.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your response to the KEMSA scandal, COVID billionaires. You said that you would rather lose your job, but you will not hurry those cases to court just because there's pressure.
Yeah.
Let's say more about it.
No. I mean, I think the public has been made to believe that we don't want to prosecute those cases. What I'm saying is that we are not ready, and when we are, we will prosecute. The evidence must be of a certain nature that we can be able to say, this is the money that has been lost, and these are the people who have that money, and we have prosecuted them. In the absence of that, I will not play to the gallery just to make people happy with a matter that I know is going nowhere. I will not lie to Kenyans. Yeah.
So that means when you perused the files when they were brought to you, there was not enough evidence that would warrant or rather would lead to a conviction according to your office?
Well, after reviewing the file, we felt that there are a number of areas that needed to be addressed for us to be able to prove to court beyond reasonable doubt that these individuals took the money, and this is where the money is, and this is the money that we sought to recover, and this is how we're going to recover it.
When you returned the files, did you give a timeline to the investigators that we expect you, or we?
You see, I myself do not believe in putting timelines in certain aspects, because I understand the complexities of some of the cases. There are some cases that we put timelines, but there are some, even if you do, you know that they probably will not achieve. So, for example, if we are dependent on other jurisdictions and other countries to help us get the evidence, how do I place a time frame? It will not be able, the investigators will not be able to meet that time frame. It will be unfair. So it is also not open-ended. We agree that within a reasonable time we will review to see the progress and whether it is in our interest to still pursue. So we have mechanisms in place to ensure that it is not open-ended and it's not something that will just remain like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about change of tact. And I'm looking at the Aroki Morel dam. A number of times you've withdrawn charges against some of the people you intended to charge, and you're using them as witnesses. Is it a change of tact or a weakness of a case?
No. I think I've tried to explain without divulging my or our what you're calling tact or our strategy. We have said that when I came into the office, what we found is that individuals never took prosecution seriously. And we did not have people who were willing to become witnesses, despite the fact that some of them were also involved in the crime. So the best thing was for us to charge all of them and let them think about it. And when they are ready to become witnesses and give us the requisite evidence, then we will negotiate. And it must be evidence that we feel is of value and that will be able to make us succeed against the most culpable individuals. So yes, we've withdrawn charges against certain individuals, but with good reasons, and those reasons have been explained in court, and the courts have concurred with us that we can proceed and do that, because we cannot just do it without consulting the courts, and also consulting the investigators involved. And then, of course, even when new evidence comes in, as I told you, in Aurora there are several jurisdictions that are involved. As they bring us the evidence slowly, we are able to see now a much clearer picture. And sometimes we then decide to even also review and refine the charges that we have put against certain individuals. So that's what we are doing, and I think it is successful. And I am confident that we shall succeed.
All right. There are corruption charges facing the former governor for Kiambu, for example,
yes.
Ferdinand Waititu.
Yes.
And last week you amended the amount of money that is being charged against him, for misappropriation.
Yeah.
And there are those who question the timing and think, is it politically motivated?
No. Again, I told you, it's about evidence never ceases to come. It comes in all through the case, and it's only after an individual is told that they have a case to answer and the defense begins, that's when then evidence maybe might not be streaming in, but all through it streams in, and once it comes in and we feel that it is substantial, it's something that will make us succeed, we amend. It has nothing to do with politics. For myself, I have made these decisions independently, without considering whether that person is aligned to a certain political wing.
All right. The weak links in terms of the fight against corruption. There were problems in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions before the adoption of a new constitution that actually removed the Office of the DPP under the Office of the Attorney General. Have you been able to identify some of the weakest links in the fight against corruption? How have you been able to bridge them when you're in office?
Well, there are quite a number of weaknesses, some of which do not relate to us as ODPP. And it would be best for you to place them in the appropriate places. But as ODPP, I think one of the biggest hindrances has been the fact that we used to rush to give consent. Now we don't do that anymore. We have the guideline to charge, the decision to charge guidelines that assists both the prosecutor and the investigator to understand what is required of them before a case is brought in. And we have therefore managed to bring, first of all, standardization and quality in terms of the kind of cases that we are going to take to court. So this has helped in ensuring that cases that are brought are strong and they will withstand time, and that we are most likely, all the time you cannot be able to get convictions, but most likely we are able to get a high rate of convictions because of the good work that will have been put into doing that.
I was asking that question because within your space and without, because in the whole idea of investigating someone, prosecuting them, and then getting a conviction is a chain. Within your space and without, do you feel like there's a form of inhibition to your office, like you're being inhibited?
No. Yeah, but why would you have that impression? Maybe you need to expound on that for me to be able to understand.
Let me expound a bit.
Yeah.
Some time ago, the DCI decided to go to court and decided to prosecute a case on themselves, and it was almost an embarrassment because the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions had actually not approved those charges.
I think those are a few hiccups here and there. I have never heard of anything like that after that. But those things are things that we've ironed out. I think there has been clear interpretation of each person's roles, and we're going to stick to that. Yeah.
The investigative agencies that we have in the country, the ESCC, DCI, your office doesn't feel sometimes inhibited by these investigative agencies?
No, why should we? Yet we have clear roles. Ours is to prosecute and to look at the files, whether they have evidence And if they don't, then we tell them clearly, we are not satisfied, please go and ensure that it has evidence. So kuna shida hapo.
You're saying your relationship now is mutual?
I mean, hii ni kazi tu. So our relationship is spelled out in the Constitution, in the different legislations, and we just have to live with them. And we are doing well so far. Okay. Yeah, and I think, you know, we are human beings. There will be hiccups here and there. There might be differences of interpretation or even personalities, but that doesn't mean there is anything that would stop work from continuing. Work has been continuing. It will continue. Our relationships, both with ESCC and the DCI, are cordial and respectful.
All right.
Yeah.
The president himself has actually lambasted the judiciary, accusing it of, you know, issuing parallel orders or unreasonable orders. And out there's a feeling that the judiciary is dropping the ball when it comes to these high-profile cases, particularly that involve corruption. You say?
You know, my say is this. One, first of all, that we are colleagues, and in any place you might have one or two bad apples, but it doesn't mean it is the whole institution. And I think sometimes also maybe you guys have also put things out of context in terms of what the president himself has said. I think it's very clear that he has not talked about the whole judiciary, but maybe a few individuals. And I think JSC is there, and I am confident that JSC will deal with those matters appropriately.
As we wind up, DPP, there's a case of public interest right now. I think there are 4 petitions seeking for your removal. The latest was filed Monday. Being accused of corruption and abuse of office. Who is after you, DPP?
I don't know. You should ask those people who have taken me to court. I really don't understand. But you know, those matters are in court. I don't want to delve too much into them. Everybody has a right. If somebody wants me to be removed, there are processes that they can follow. I also have a right to challenge those who want to do it if I feel it is malicious and it is wrongly crafted. Yeah.
How do you feel about those petitions? Because this is the 4th.
It's okay. I mean, my predecessor had almost 10 of them. So it's okay. Wanaweza leta tutadil nayo, and if PSC feels I have to go, I cannot be in this seat forever. I recognize that. That's why I have a term, and the term will end. If I have to leave, if PSC really feels that I have to leave, and the president sets up a tribunal, and the tribunal finds, you know, there are processes, finds that I have to leave, I am a man of God. I believe that then God has better plans for me. Hii kiti kama vile watu wengi wanasema, wengine wanasema si ya mama yangu, inaweza kuenda anytime.
These allegations brought against you, I'm sure you've seen some of them. The weight they hold. How do you feel when these allegations are brought against you? For example, you're the one approving whether to charge a corrupt person or not, and then you
and you see, I've not been accused of corruption. Actually, if you look at those petitions, they have accused me of making the wrong decision. That there was sufficient evidence and that I made the wrong decision.
Rubia's petition yesterday, DPP, accuses you of abuse of office and corruption.
What corruption do they say?
I don't know. That is why I'm asking you, when you see these charges being leveled against you,
well, if
how do you feel?
I will have to look at that petition, but I don't remember. I think his petition was to do with the appointments here. And if he means that that is corruption, he will have to table the evidence. I am absolutely confident that I've never been involved in any of that, and that is just being malicious, and that I will also table my evidence and I will challenge the assertions. If you look at most of this, you will see that they come from one single party. Some of them they have taken, some people have withdrawn. some of the things that they have brought without delving into the merits and demerits are things that are also before court. But like any other person and like any other Kenyan, I will have my day to answer. It's not my style to go and shout and make accusations out there. I will answer it in court and the PSC also. Yeah.
All right. The name of this segment, DPP, is Extra Mile. The advocate of the High Court for 19 years, having served in the security sector, now the Director of Public Prosecutions. What does the DPP do when he's not in the office? Or when he's not doing a tie and a suit? The serious man we see prosecuting corruption. What does the DPP do?
I have a family, so I'm usually with my family. Yeah.
That's it?
That's it. What else would I do?
You don't play golf?
I don't play golf because mi ni mtu wa mtaa tu. Mambo ya kufukuza mpira ndogo, mtu mzima. Afadhali nitembee mtaani, siwezi enda kugonga mpira huko bana. Afadhali nicheze football ama niogelee. Golf, hata haijawahi kuwa. Unajua mimi nilisoma Nyaruru DB primary. So mimi mtu tu ya kawaida. Mambo ya golf hiyo mimi sijui. Hata naonanga tu kwa TV na ninashangaa watu wazima. Tena mpira ndogo, afadhali ile mpira kubwa football.
So wewe ni shabiki wa football?
Nachezanga mpira lakini sio die hard pia. Kwa ajili timu yangu sasa hii inafanya mbaya sana.
Especially Arsenal?
Hapana.
Manchester United.
Lakini tunaomba.
Thank you very much. The Director of Public Prosecutions, ladies and gentlemen, understanding the mandate of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and where we are in terms of the war against corruption. Keep watching KBC because KBC is home and Kenya is watching.